Grayson and Beya, The Silly Spy Baby. Chapter 1, The Wobbly Spy Baby. Grayson was just an ordinary 3-year-old by day, but when the moon came up, things got interesting. You see, his stuffed bear, Beya, wasn't just any bear. At night, Beya would come to life, and together, they had the most ridiculous adventures. One evening, as Grayson was almost asleep, Beya poked him and whispered, "Grayson, how about becoming a spy baby tonight?" Grayson, barely awake, mumbled, "A spy baby? Like on TV?" Beya nodded with a serious face. "Yup, but funnier." With a tap on Grayson's nose, he transformed into a wobbly little spy baby with an oversized black spy outfit and a giant magnifying glass that was way too big for his tiny hands. Grayson looked in the mirror and burst into giggles. He was definitely the silliest spy baby ever. Chapter 2, The Chocolate Chase. Grayson's first mission as a spy baby was to find the super-duper secret stash of chocolate his mom, Ms. Clark, had hidden. But it wasn't going to be easy, especially when Grayson couldn't stop bumping into things because his magnifying glass was so heavy. "Let's find that chocolate before your mom eats it all herself," Beya whispered with a wink. They tiptoed to the kitchen, but every step was a challenge. Grayson tripped over his own feet, knocked over a chair, and almost fell into the cookie jar. But after a lot of clumsy sneaking and a near miss with a flying frying pan, they found the chocolate, on the top shelf, of course. Grayson tried to reach it, but being 3 feet tall and super wobbly didn't help. So Beya climbed on his head, stretching as far as his little bare arms could go. They almost grabbed the box when Grayson lost his balance, and both of them toppled over, landing in a pile of flour with a loud poof. Covered in flour and giggling uncontrollably, they left the chocolate alone. "Next time, let's bring a ladder," Beya suggested, wiping flour off his nose. Chapter 3, The Missing Sock Surprise. The next night, Grayson and Beya were ready for another mission. Jim, Grayson's dad, couldn't find his favorite running socks, and Grayson decided they needed to help. As soon as the house was quiet, they got to work. But sneaking wasn't easy when Grayson's spy outfit kept getting tangled in his own feet, causing him to tumble headfirst into a laundry basket. "Are you okay?" Beya asked, trying not to laugh. Grayson popped his head out of the basket, a sock on his head like a hat, and grinned, "I'm good." They searched high and low, in the laundry room and under the couch, but no socks. Just as they were about to give up, Grayson's spy suit got caught on something in the closet. He pulled and pulled until suddenly, thwack, a sock flew out and hit him right in the face. Grayson held up the sock triumphantly. "Found it," he declared, a little dizzy from the surprise attack. They placed the socks on Jim's dresser and ran back to bed, giggling all the way. Mission accomplished, even if it was a little bumpy. Chapter 4, The Toy Disaster. One night, Grayson and Beya heard a loud crash from the living room. They rushed to find that Jim had knocked over all of Grayson's toys while trying to build his latest invention, a self-flipping pancake machine that flipped more than just pancakes. "Oh no, my toys," Grayson gasped. "This looks like a job for Spy Baby." They quickly got to work, but cleaning up wasn't as easy as it sounded. Grayson tried to put his toy train back on its tracks, but it kept rolling off, making him chase it around the room. Meanwhile, Beya was tangled up in the action figure's arms, trying to free himself without knocking over more toys. Finally, after what felt like hours of hilarious chaos, they managed to set everything right, just in time for Jim to walk back into the room scratching his head at the neatly arranged toys. "Huh, I thought I made a mess in here," he muttered, completely puzzled. Grayson and Beya watched from the hallway, holding in their giggles. Another mission completed, though not without a lot of laughter. Chapter 5. The Coffee Confusion. The next morning, Ms. Clark was running late and couldn't find her beloved Starbucks coffee. Grayson knew they had to help, so that night, he and Beya set off to locate the missing coffee beans. But sneaking around when you're a clumsy spy baby is easier said than done. Grayson, trying to be super stealthy, bumped into the table and knocked over a bowl of apples. One of them rolled off the table, and Grayson, trying to catch it, ended up slipping and sliding right into the pantry door with a loud thud. "Ouch," he whispered, rubbing his nose. They eventually found the coffee, hiding behind a giant box of cereal that was about to fall over. Beya jumped onto Grayson's head to keep the cereal from toppling, but in the process, Grayson got a face full of coffee beans as the bag fell open. Sputtering beans out of his mouth, Grayson laughed. "Well, at least we found it." They left the coffee on the counter with a note that read, "For Mom, from your secret spy and his bear." When Ms. Clark found it the next morning, she was confused about why there were coffee beans everywhere, but she was happy to have her coffee nonetheless. Chapter 6. The Medal Mix-Up. One night, Beya suggested they find out where Jim hid all his marathon medals. Grayson was curious too, so they decided to make it their next mission. They searched everywhere: the office, the bedroom, and even the garage, where Grayson accidentally triggered one of Jim's inventions. Suddenly, a mechanical arm started flinging socks everywhere. Grayson ducked and dodged, laughing so hard he could barely keep his spy hat on. Finally, they found the medals hidden in a box under the bed. Grayson tried to pick one up, but it was so heavy he nearly toppled over. He barely managed to balance himself when Beya jumped onto his head for support. They left a note on the box that said, "You're the best, Dad, from your secret spy," and his bear, who nearly got buried in socks. The next morning, Jim found the note and chuckled, scratching his head at the sock-covered room. Chapter 7. The Hilarious Lessons. After all their wild adventures, Grayson and Beya were ready for a good night's rest. But before they drifted off, Beya asked, "So, Grayson, what did you learn from all our spy baby missions?" Grayson thought for a moment, still giggling at the memory of coffee beans, socks, and tumbling toys. "I learned that being a spy baby is super fun, even if you bump into things a lot. And sometimes, it's okay to be silly while helping people." Beya grinned. "You're right, Grayson. We had a lot of fun, and we made sure everyone was happy, even if they didn't know it was us." Grayson hugged Beya tight. "Thanks for all the laughs, Beya. You're the best bear ever." As Grayson fell asleep, he knew that with Beya by his side, every night would be full of silly surprises and giggles. And even though he might bump into a few things along the way, he'd always have a blast being the silliest spy baby ever. The end.